So if there's one thing about this injury to Richard Torres, his season is over, tweeting out about half an hour ago, the quarterback from San Antonio that verbally committed to Nebraska. Baylor, as Brian Munson was telling us on Friday, was hot on the trail. B. Muntz was there, so we'll be curious to hear his thoughts coming up on Friday. Nebraska will stick with him, but other schools that had not seen enough of him or wanted to see more probably now will back off. And if you're from Nebraska's standpoint, you find out what the injury is, what the rehab is going to be like, and what he'll be like for next year when he shows up at Nebraska. But Nebraska will stick with his commitment. But he is out for the year, which is unfortunate because he had gotten off to a fantastic start. I mean, he was ripping it and went down with an injury on Friday night's game. So Nebraska's quarterback recruit for 2022 is done for the year. Rusty in Albuquerque into the Equitable Bank inbox. Gary, in order for the Huskers to start winning these close games, the Huskers need to quit beating themselves and get the right players on the field that will get them the wins. Shane. Hello, Shane. Mr. Optimism. Please ruin my dreams as soon as possible. What are the possibilities of Russ Holstein as the new Husker offensive line coach? Shane also, I think I stopped Shane. Shane was pushing for Marvin Lewis to be the head coach at Nebraska, and I think I probably slowed his roll on that. John writes, John Blake loaded Oklahoma with talent but could not win. Bob Stoops came in and won a national championship in year 2 with that talent. Coaching matters every bit as talent. Chris writes in, I'm absolutely cheering for Urban Meyer to do well at Jacksonville because I sure as hell don't want to see him back in college football. He would just turn another program to a monster if he washes out in the NFL, and we don't need another program we can't beat. I don't think Urban comes back to college, but now I'm not sure Urban has another year in Jacksonville after this year. When you're telling the fans to stick with us, and it's only after week 2, after Denver scored 23 answered, that's not a good sign. Not a good sign at all. We're earlier in the coaching chatter than I can recall. Like in college football, USC's job is open, but they got a huge win this past weekend in Pullman. After Florida State has started 0-3, never led against Wake Forest, even though it's pretty clear they had better talent. They were outcoached. Alums are questioning the culture and fight of Florida State and Mike Norvell. Again, 0-3. He would have to win 6 games the rest of the year to have the same mark that Willie Taggart had. Ooh. Something is amiss at Florida State. Something happened in the opening night against Notre Dame. They made that competitive. But what happens in Tallahassee makes it even rougher for Mike Norvell if he's not able to turn it around, is Deion Sanders is having some success. And Deion Sanders is actually recruiting well to Jackson State. Deion, an alum, the more that Deion has success at an FCS school, the more people will throw his name into the ring to be the next head coach at Florida State if Mike Norvell does not get it turned around. I think Mike Norvell is a good coach. Sometimes you have good coaches, it's the program that they're in. That there's just so much and it overwhelms you when you come from, like Mike Norvell did from Memphis, Scott Frost from Central Florida. They had great matchups. In the AAC, Scott Frost against Mike Norvell was a great matchup. Remember Central Florida, Memphis? Late in 17 that I think we all watched because it was going to be Scott Frost time at Nebraska? Both of those coaches were really good. Then they got into 2 programs that share a lot of great in the 80s and the 90s, but haven't been able to find anything in the last 20 years. And it's just all the chatter. But the chatter is a lot louder in Tallahassee with Norvell going 0-3 and losing to Wake Forest. And they've got a game against Louisville this weekend. It would be good for Florida State not to go to 0-4. Florida State-Miami may have some decisions to make at the end of the year because that's not a very good Miami team. And, oh, by the way, Mario Cristobal, one of their own, is doing really well at Oregon. See how that works? right, good show today, everybody. Thanks to the Matt Verzal. It was an abrupt ending. Verz had to go do something with an employee. I think everything is okay. Pisons is open today. For Mike Schaefer and to all of you, we'll do it again on a Tuesday, tomorrow, when we rejoin you at 10 with another edition of The Gary Sharp Show on 1620 The Zone. For Chance Oliver, I'm Gary Sharp. USC is next.